Hello, guys. So we will be discussing in this session the new criminal laws in India 2024. So introduced in 2024, and I'll be discussing in detail, and I'll also discuss the difference between the new and the old one in terms of procedures and everything. Okay. So these laws are a significant shift if you look at it from the colonial era legislation, and that has governed India for decades. Now there is a significant shift you can see, and because of that itself you will see a difficulty in the implementation of this also. Even the police officials also start facing problem in the beginning, but it will be okay over a period of time. So our focus today will be to explore how these new laws aim to modernize the justice system and address the contemporary challenges. So situations have changed and society have changed, individuals have changed over a period of time. It's been decades, and now it's the need of the hour. Okay, so we will delve into the historical context that led to these changes and highlight the key improvement in the legal framework. So we will start the session. So let's move into the slide, and briefly I'll talk about the historical context also, because to understand the evolution of criminal laws in India, we must look at the historical context. And before the introduction of Indian Penal Code by Macaulay in 1860, different religious communities followed their own laws, and that led to a lot of inconsistencies. And Britishers, right from Warren Hastings' time, they faced this problem with respect to legal system. Right, for example, if you look at the criminal system, there are more or less almost the same for Hindus and Muslims, which were partly Islamic and partly local, which was set by Mughals. But especially when it comes to civil cases, the laws are different, and that led to a lot of inconsistencies and issues at that point of time. And the introduction of new, a common legal framework was necessary to ensure uniformity and clarity. So post independence, while the Indian Penal Code, the Criminal Procedure Code, and the Indian Evidence Act continued to be amended, they were still based on outdated colonial structure, because the basis from the colonial legal framework, and the new laws basically aim to reflect the contemporary realities and provide more coherent legal structure, which is actually the demand of the time. Okay, so now let's understand what is this difference between substantive law and procedural law. So when in front of law, or when it comes to law, it is very essential that you need to differentiate between substantive and procedural law. Substantive law means it defines what constitute a crime and the associated punishments. For example, 375, let's say, IPC, or 420 or 470, if you take, they define they define the offense or the crime and then punishment. For example, 375 define what is rape, and 376 give the punishment. Okay, like that. So Indian Penal Code falls under this category, substantive law. And on the other hand, if you look at procedural law, that outlines a process that must be followed once a crime has occurred, such as how to file FIR, the first information report, or how the trials are conducted. There are procedures how you file the FIR and how the trials are conducted, and there are different steps. Right, you will be charge sheeted after the FIR. Then there are different process, and finally charge sheeted, and then after the charge sheet, there are different process, and the trial will be there, and finally conviction or acquittal will be there. Right, so that process is there, how the witnesses are examined, how the close examination is there, what kind of evidences has been taken, and all these are what comes under the procedural law. For example, CrPC defines it very clearly. Okay, so understanding the distinction is very crucial as we examine how the new laws have redefined both categories to enhance legal clarity and efficiency. So that's the basic reason why I have briefly mentioned about this. And now let's look at the law commission's role. Okay, so what the role of law commission basically plays a pivotal role in recommending changes to the legal framework, and it comprises of senior legal professionals, retired judges, and academicians. And commission basically analyze the existing laws and proposes necessary reforms depends on the changes in society and conditions. And the key reports from the commission, such as those addressing the death penalty and the sedition laws, have been influential in shaping the current legal landscape. And their recommendation have led to or paved the way for the introduction of these new laws. emphasizing the need for modernization and alignment with contemporary values. So the situations have changed, society have changed, and society have evolved, and the colonial hangover is over, and still the laws are almost the same. So we need changes, and that's the context actually. Now we can look at new laws and its development process. So this is what we can try to understand. And the development process for the new laws involved several critical steps you can see here. And initially, the National Law University in Delhi formed a committee to focus on criminal reforms, criminal law reforms. And this committee submitted its recommendations to the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2022. After extensive discussions and amendments, the new laws were tabled in Parliament, withdrawn, reintroduced before finally being passed in 2023. And this meticulous process highlights the importance of thorough review and public discourse in lawmaking, ensuring that the new regulations serve the interest of justice and society. Now, when it comes to new laws, very much related to or more focused on women and children protection. So, one of the significant advancements in the new laws is the introduction of a dedicated chapter for offenses against women and children. Previously, scattered provisions in the Indian Penal Code (IPC) have now been consolidated with more clarity. Moreover, if you look at this, these new laws emphasize gender neutrality and addressing both victims and offenders equally, regardless of gender. So this change reflects a growing recognition of the need to protect vulnerable population and ensure justice in a more inclusive manner. So that's again a very significant element that we need to discuss, and the stricter timelines. Again, another problem with respect to the legal system is getting solved here. The new laws have also introduced very strict timelines for judicial processes to ensure speedy justice. See, this famous saying, right? Justice delayed is justice denied. So the stricter timelines are given. For example, judgments must now be delivered within 45 days of final hearing, and charge sheet must be framed within 60 days of the or charges must be framed within 60 days of the initial hearing. Okay, so initial hearing will be there. See, in the process, after the charge sheet, then there is a process of framing of charges. So it has to be done within 60 days. Once the final hearing is done, within 45 days, judgment should be there. You cannot, delay, justice for both the parties. And these changes basically aim to reduce delays in the justice system, acknowledging the urgency often required in sensitive cases, and very, very significant considering the pendency of cases in the courts. Okay. Now, another interesting factor is this community service as punishment. So, to address the issue of overcrowded prisons, the new laws introduce community service as a potential punishment for petty offenses. And this innovative approach not only aims to, decongest the prisons, but also provides first-time offenders with an opportunity for rehabilitation through social work, rather than sending them to jail. So this shift reflects a more reformative rather than punitive approach to justice, and emphasizing the importance of second chance for second chances, and also a community involvement with that. Your mindset may be changed, a reformation may be possible, and all those things are there. Next important element that we can discuss is basically the technology integration. So with the modernization of legal process, technology has become vital component of the new laws, and the explicit mention of EFIR, Electronic First Information Report, and the recognition of digital evidence as documentary evidence signify a significant leap forward. And if you look at this, critics have raised concern regarding the infrastructure need to support these technological advancements, emphasizing the necessity for robust systems to implement these changes effectively. So if you look at overall India, different the development in different regions are entirely different. See, certain states, if you compare, it will be very difficult to implement all these, right? You cannot compare a state like Kerala with some states in the northern part of India. So a lot of technology related issues can come, but over a period of time, this is what we need to achieve. Now, a victim-centric approach. Very, very important concept. So a critical aspect of the new law is their victim-centric approach. Victim now have the right to be informed about the progress of investigation within 90 days, and new witness protection scheme have been introduced. And these changes aim to empower victims and ensure that their voices are heard throughout the legal process, addressing the past shortcomings in the justice system and reinforcing the import, importance of the victim's rights. Very significant. Now, police custody changes. So now the new laws have brought changes to police custody procedure as well. And previously, police could take custody for 15 days, but now they can request custody at any point during the initial 40 to 60 days of judicial custody. Okay, so earlier they could take custody for 15 days. Now, while basically, if you look at this basically change or what to say, this change aims to enhance police efficiency. It has raised concern about potential abuse of power. So taking custody and that can lead to potential abuse of power. I hope you can connect that, and the police is given more freedom. It's like that only. So critics warn that these altercations, could lead to an increase in police atrocities, necessitating careful monitoring and oversight. Okay, now application of new laws. So how it is applicable? Offenses, okay, the case type or the crimes pre-July 1, 2024, it's the old law. Okay, retrospectively, no laws can be applied in criminal cases. So if the offense is committed before July 1, it is the old law. And post July 1, it is a new law. Okay, and BNS, BNSS, and BSA. Okay, so procedural aspect, new laws apply to all cases. Okay. So when it comes to procedural aspect, substantive and procedural, I hope you are very clear now. So when it comes to procedural aspect, it is a new law. So for the cases that occurred before July 1, 2024, the old law will apply. And for incidents post this date, the new laws will be enforced, ensuring a clear distinction in the legal framework. This can arise confusion also, but anyway, this transition marks a significant step in aligning the legal system with modern standards, reinforcing the necessity of adapting to the social changes and everything. Now, what we can conclude, what would be the better conclusion? The new criminal laws that was introduced in 2024 represent a substantial change or overhaul of India's legal framework and moving away from outdated colonial regulations towards a more modern, inclusive, and efficient justice system. Speedy trial is also there. Gender neutral approach is given. Women and children is given more importance, and victim centered approach is there. Witness protection scheme is there. Okay, so these changes are crucial not only for improving the legal process, but also for ensuring that justice is accessible to all. Now, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you understood whatever I have discussed. I basically wanted to discuss with you the new changes which has been brought in, and in case if you get a question, you should be in a position to answer it in the most effective and better way. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, give me a like and thumbs up, or you can comment below if you have any questions and your opinion. In case if you're interested in the GS course, the complete IAS course, I'll give you the link in the description. You can join there, and sociology course also you can get there. And see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.